to Pubg Nations Cup Seoul 2019, the most prestigious live event in Battle Royale esports, where top players from around the world come together to have the game of their lives. Please welcome our 16 teams. Team Argentina. Team Chinese Taipei. Team Canada. Team Finland. Team Brazil. Team Australia. Team Turkey. Team Great Britain. Team Vietnam. Team Japan. Team Germany. Team Russia. Team United States. Team Thailand. Team China. Team South Korea.
Sit around here and stay broke, huh? Yeah. Okay. I got plenty. I get it. We just keep getting more and more. I get it.
너무 좀 큰 대회이기도 하고 다들 너무 잘하시니까 진짜 재밌는 경기 했으면 좋겠고
我对这次能参加 PNC 这个比赛的话是感到非常开心，然后同时我也会尽全力去打这个比赛。
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. We got a good team, good environment, and you know we've played together before, so we have some good synergy together. So feeling confident.
Gotta be waiting for the blue. They're all ready. They know where he is. They're waiting for him. Tempo's got it. Tempo's got it.
I think it will be a different change coming to Korea for this event because we're playing as all-stars and not as a team. So it's a nice, refreshing event, and we get to see a lot of stuff, and we get to face new opponents that we would not have faced in the past.
Yo creo que no hay equipo fuerte, ya que todos estamos mezclados. Hay un jugador de cada equipo, máximo de 2 jugadores por país.
I personally think our rival team is the Team Russia because my teammate Uba is there, playing there, so it's rival from there because I want to do better than him. But other than that, I don't think there is anything else than that.
Финляндия.
Uba, I'm coming after you.
Мексия, поздравляю со 2-м местом. это твой предел. К каждому турниру я подхожу серьезно, настраиваюсь на каждую игру, так что, думаю, покажу свой максимальный перформанс.
Okay, so I feel really confident about this tournament. I've been playing with a lot of these guys on stream before, so I'm really confident we're going to do good, and I can't wait to see what we can achieve.
ทีนี้เราอยากจะบอกกับทีมอื่นนะครับในการแข่งครั้งนี้นะฮะคือรอบนี้ตามปกติเราจะเป็นผู้แพ้ของทีมอื่นแต่คราวนี้เรามาเป็นทีมที่จะชนะทีมอื่นครับผม
海外からの日本っていうのはそんなに注目されてないっていうのがもう分かっているので今回それを覆していきたいと思います。
Also wir werden auf jeden Fall dieses Turnier gewinnen und natürlich auch viele Kills machen. Zu jedem anderen Team macht euch auf jeden Fall gefasst. Team Deutschland wird euch für euch kommen und euch vom Schlachtfeld weghauen.
We will try to play aggressive and have no respect against anyone.
你们要小心被我们包围。
All the teams should know that they should be really careful about Team Finland, because we're gonna come hot.
我对这次比赛的期望就是帮助中国赛区拿下一个世界赛的名额。遇到中国赛区的时候小心一点。
더 이제 열심히 해서 더 잘하는 모습 많이 보여드려가지고 국뽕차게 해드리겠습니다.
An amazing opportunity for all of these nations to prove themselves and also do their nations proud indeed. This is the Pubg Nations Cup for 2019 as we get down to all the business. Oh, Korean casters, oh, they're excited. And I'm excited too as it's time to get down to the games as we get things going. We're going to have Miramar to start things off, gentlemen. And of course, that presents its own problems in itself when it comes to dealing with the desert, going up against these mixed teams that you're not necessarily have that much practice again, apart from the scrims that have gone down so far.
We're going to see a lot of sniping going on, a lot of DMRs. That's the play for Miramar, and that's how we're going to start off the games. I feel like a team like Germany that plays really good on that kind of meta, they're going to be really good on first game here.
I'm excited to see if they're going to be continuing their edge strat as well. We know that there's already a few teams that are going to be contesting each other. Picado, who's going to win? We have Chumaser as well. There's really exciting to go off with. How long are they going to stay there to try and contest? And how long are they going to go off and say, you know what, we're going to loot somewhere else, is fine, because there's only 15 games.
Yeah, and actually starting off on Miramar is one where we can kind of, shake off the jitters. People are going to, maybe build their confidence. We're going to see some pulling up. We obviously see some more interesting rotations coming, and where these teams that they're not as slick and not as rehearsed, I think it's going to create some interesting gameplay.
Definitely may do. Of course, we're going to focus on a few of the teams as we continue on as well here. We saw at the very end of our opening ceremony, South Korea get a very warm reception here to their live home crowd. And I think validly so. I mean, not only, of course, are they playing on home turf and things like that, but they're also a team that is looking to perform well. You were saying in the pre-show that you believe it was a choice between either Finland or South Korea, whether or not they were going to be able to do well.
I mean, South Korea, I see them as one of the strongest regions in PUBG right now.
Yeah.
And that's why it was so close between them and Finland. But at the same time, with their home turf here, there's a lot of pressure on them with this big crowd here as well, cheering for them.
For me, I think what comes to when you talk South Korea and the PUBG teams here, these guys, they have the work ethic, the biggest work ethic of any nation here. And I think that's going to show when we come into the games. You can see when we had the interviews here with the guys, they are filled with pride. And I'm quite sure they're here to show their nation proud when it comes to these games.
Even more bants and more kind of little fiery words than I was expecting, to be honest, Hypoc, when we were watching some of those interviews.
Yeah, some of the trash talk coming out is that's going to set an interesting narrative for some of these games. But again, it's good to see people like Mexi say they're looking to come in hot. They're not going to come in. They're not going to send out feelers or anything like that. They've come here to fight. They're going to be crashing, taking compounds, and taking fights.
Definitely so. They've got Squeaky as their coach and manager, I suppose, during all of this. And actually, ENCE was one of the teams in PEL that, in Phase 1, of course, was willing to go in hot. And I think Squeaky could be a little bit of a kind of pushing factor in that direction. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, we saw ENCE dominating Phase 1 of PEL. Squeak himself was second in kill, I'm pretty sure, right after Rustamar, his teammate. Now, Phase 2 wasn't as good for him, but having a player as their coach here can help a lot because he understands exactly what they're going through. He knows exactly what is needed to be done in different situations.
And when it comes to Squeaky, for me, obviously you're bringing in a lot of high morale, positive mental attitude. All this is really important as a coach as well. He knows these guys so well. He's going to be able to say, you know what, guys, back on the horse, get back to it, and then be able to, between the games, come with a quick breakdown. What is important? What do these guys need to know? And what don't they need to know anything about?
Yeah. Does it also help to know from like a pro player coach perspective what's going on around you during the early game, potentially to be able to set up rotations, etc.? What do you think, Hyper?
Well, I think potentially a player is going to be able to identify, more often than not in these games, I think the problem is going to come down to these, like we said, the synergy between some of these players.
Yeah,
and actually having a player to be able to identify that, it's probably actually, outside of a macro level, it's actually more advantageous to have a player to say, look, that team fight fell apart because of X, Y, and Z.
Sure.
Whereas just looking at it from, purely a stand-away basis, that fifth man, bouncing back in between games, that's going to be huge.
And we actually saw, whilst all the teams were making their entrances, that they all do have a coach figure with them here, be it a pro player or be it they're a normal coach that they do have in their respective region. And I think a lot of the coaches here in PUBG have quite a bit of that experience, actually. I think we're quite blessed in PUBG when it comes to some of our coaches.
Well, we see coaching blooming up more and more. More teams are getting themselves a good coach, and I feel like every team needs a coach. It doesn't matter if you're the best team in the world. With a coach, you can become even better.
Yeah. And there's many different types of coach you can have. There's so many, you can have the kind of jabroni, the cheerleader kind of guy that stands behind you, positive.
I think it's a morale booster. PUBG is one of the most demoralizing games.
We're playing 15 games. You need to be able to reset after every game. Obviously, Jabroni, he knows a lot about the game, but his positivity, everything that he's going to be able to bring these guys is going to be really important to this roster.
The only thing I have in my head right now is Jabroni going, yeah, go, yeah. That's all is going through my mind.
If he gets some pom-poms, then maybe that's going to be the magic touch for USA. I don't know.
Maybe. Hey, we didn't have many predictions for Team USA, so maybe they do need that kind of little morale boost.
I'm actually kind of surprised now that we have a few Americans. Poro, the biggest fan for America.
The NA fanboy.
The NA fanboy. How does he not vote for America
South
there?
Korea. Yeah.
What if South Korea?
The glory hunter.
Yeah.
What can we say?
Yes. Wait a minute. I voted for South Korea. Anyway, beyond all of that.
Yeah, but yours was logical.
Yes, I appreciate that. 9 years worth of logic, actually, when it comes to esports. They're pretty good at esports.
They are insane.
Yeah.
Regardless, of course, here, when it take a look at how things unfold on Miramar, obviously one of the big things to talk about is the rotations and how those do go down. It can be trickier to do such rotations, deep rotations on a map like Miramar compared to Erangel.
Yeah, I mean, also we know that some teams, they have the IGLs from some of the teams that they know that they're playing against.
Yeah.
And I feel like the IGL would go towards a little bit towards the league play that they usually do. So you will see some spots that maybe Na'Vi usually plays in PL, for example. Team Russia is going to take those kind of spots and play from that.
I actually talked to Sen and he was like, yeah, we're playing Na'Vi strats. He's going to be hot. Yes, he's going to be hot in game leading. Obviously, he has a doozy that plays with him normally. And then you bring in Kemba and Uba, who's like massive fraggers, which kind of places the same mentality they have. And I feel like we're going to see the same Na'Vi strat we've been seeing in the beginning of phase 2 of PL. So for that, I think they're going to be doing extremely well, because for me, the edge meta and the kind of the slower playstyle is going to be paying off much more than kind of fighting early, because they're going to be trying to see, look at each other and, okay, how are these teams playing, get into it. Yeah. And you're going to be able to see that much more on a distance. Well, see how they adapt, where the fights go down, and kind of be aware of your environment around you.
Is Team Russia one of the teams that you think can actually, Hypoc, I'm going to direct this question towards you, use that edge meta and sweep as effectively as Navi has done in the past in PEL? Because I think that the members that they have available to them, Kemba's one of the guys that his team didn't place that highly in PEL, but he was one of the standout players of their team. So do you think that they can work that in nicely?
I think if they can execute a game plan like that in these games, they're going to reap the rewards early on.
Right.
I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do that throughout the season, because I do think this is going to be a series where teams are going to adapt, and they're going to adapt on the fly. It's going to be very quick. In between maps, on the fly mid-game. Yeah, absolutely. I think actually where things aren't rehearsed is actually where it creates these kind of, like I said earlier, there's a couple of teams that can be the wildcard effect. Yeah. They can flip a situation on its head, and having that rehearsed strategy but not having the 4 players you usually execute it with, could send them in the wrong direction.
Makes a lot of sense. We are just waiting a few moments here before we do get into our game, of course, as everybody is getting ready and good to go. I did see a few chairs empty, so there's sneaky little boys just getting on down there and making sure that they are ready to go. So beyond that, what are the teams you want to highlight for us? Are there any teams that really do stand out to you before we actually get into our first games here for the Nations Cup?
I mean, I want to talk to a team which is Chinese Taipei.
Yeah.
I think they're a little bit of a dark horse for me, at least. And they also have what I think is the youngest player here, right? Leo, only 18 years old.
Right.
And I feel like they have massive potential, but it's going to come down to can they get a good start here from the start? If they don't get that, it might be a little bit hard for them.
Obviously, players that have been playing with each other for some while, they've been represented at Globals as well. They are definitely a kind of the dark horse underdog for me. I don't think we're going to see much from them on day one. I think they're one of the teams that's going to kind of grow into the shoes, if you can say that, and really fill it out.
A slow burner almost. I think that's another team that's going to kind of, they're going to build momentum.
Yeah.
Once they kind of, take their first few team fights, they maybe shake off that jitter, and they're going to be playing aggressive after that.
That makes a lot of sense. And when we look further on, of course, other teams that we haven't really talked about is, in fact, technically a full roster from PEL itself during Phase 2, which is Turkey. And of course, they are represented as Digital Athletics when it comes to the PEL. Their play style was pretty central, pretty passive, to say the least. They kind of waited for the fights almost to come to them. Is that kind of play style going to be able to work out here in Nations Cup?
No. I don't think so. I don't think you're going to be able to play, particularly the way the Digital Athletics played throughout PEL. I don't think that's going to reap reward over this. Teams are going to be playing way more aggressive. There's going to be people are going to be pressuring teams early game into Phase 2. Come Phase 3 and 4, unless you secure the compound or you're already taking 2 team fights and cleared your edge, I don't think you're going to have an opportunity to snake your way into
I mean, when we talk about Turkey, it comes down to one key player. We all know him, Iroh. It's all about Iroh and how he is going to be performing. I'm not saying that the others are bad players, but he is the one who is the star player. He's the key player. He's the one who's going to carry the team. Yes.
I mean, importantly, though, you made sure to mention that the other guys are still very good. We actually saw that 1 week in PEL where Iroh was unable to attend Avenger, and we saw that the rest of the team was able to do still well whilst he wasn't there. So they still have some power behind them. But maybe Iroh is that X factor.
But for me, they played differently there. They played a different meta. It was early on in the phase, and for me here with this full roster while they're playing right now, I think they're going to be able to kind of sneak into in a 10th to 6th kind of area in the mid pack.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to see them very well in the top, because as Hypox said as well, you're going up against superstar players. When you take fights, you're going to lose players. And they're going to be coming down to losing 1, 2, 3 players, and they're going to be going into snake mode. And these teams that are playing here, they're going to be sweeping every single area, all the spots, every house, every shack, making sure that nobody can backstab.
I like something you said there, which was you're going up against superstar players, because it feels like to me, for a lot of these regions, a lot of these players got in via kind of voting processes, right, Hypoc? Yeah. And because of that, it's more likely, surely, that the big fraggers, the big heavy hitters of the regions got voted in, because they're kind of the guys that always get highlighted, right?
Well, the thing is it was the other players in the regions voting for who they wanted to see in the roster.
Right.
It's kind of come from probably the most credible voting sample that you could possibly ask for.
It's of your peers.
Exactly, yeah. So these are the players that have stood out, that have actually stood out to the other players within the region and said, that's who I'm happy to have represented our nation.
And you couldn't vote for yourself, you couldn't vote for your teammates, so there's nothing going on there. You're going to have the absolute best players that your colleagues think of you, your rivals. So I'm really happy to see the kind of format that's playing out here, because I'm quite sure that we're going to be seeing the best of the best really represented here.
I mean, and everybody wanted to have the best players to represent their nation.
Yeah.
So not would you only go for the best players, but you also wanted to have the best combination of players. Because in the end, this is a team game. You got to work together as a team.
Do you reckon us, Team Desk, could have a chance against all of this?
Wait, we got 3 ex-players here, of course.
And then you got a potato, so...
Yeah. Well, I would say with confidence, if they're throwing us in there in the 17 teams instead, I'm quite sure we'll be ending in the top 5.
Okay, this is the time.
I'm with you on that one.
It's at this point that we make the mandatory Froz driving joke, so just insert that there. And
wow.
And then
that
not
was really
top 5.
I like that.
I just don't drive, okay? And we're going to be all good.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll drive. The other guys will shoot out. Full steel strats to shoot out of the car.
Full
while
steel,
driving.
of course,
Yeah, like that. Let's do that, guys.
SKS.
That or boat rotations through the blue. That one as
Yeah,
well.
Let's not talk about that.
That's on you guys.
It's
That's
no,
on you
whoa. Every single tournament we defend ourselves. Wasn't us, boys. Wasn't us. All right. Anyway. Beyond that, some of the teams that we haven't really touched on too much are the teams from North America, of course. When you got Canada and Team USA, we've talked about them a little bit. Hypoc, talk to me.
Canada, I think, is a perfect example of where we have this superstar roster.
Yeah.
We have K-Mine, we have Drassel, we have Maluk, we have Moody. Those arguably are the four kind of key players from their rosters. And actually, when we talk about Tempo Storm, we talk about Sharka, we talk about Zampa, Maluk is actually the brains behind that team.
Yeah.
And
he's the brain on the team.
The brain.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow.
Well, I wasn't going to say it.
But I don't know. I mean, he is. It's in terms of he is that clever.
He's the
Oh,
overmind.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant he's the only.
No,
brain.
not in the
We'll
overbrain,
breeze
no.
over that real quick. But yeah, I mean, this is just it's stacked. I think this is a team that arguably on paper has the most potential to over deliver. And I think actually when you talk about the season that Drassel had and the season that K-Mine have, these are heavy hitters.
I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball. Obviously, they have, had experience with each other in the past. However, most recently, they've all been playing on separate teams completely. Does that hinder them a little bit, or what do you think?
Well, I think this is the thing. Talking about Maluk being, big brain player, he's the one that actually can tie this together and make it work. And actually, the other rosters we looked at, where we say we've got strong RGLs and strong fraggers, actually just throwing in a lot of fraggers together and hoping somebody can carry the RGL role. I think Maluk's actually going to be able to tie this together and make this work. And I think he's one of the few players actually here that we could actually demonstrate that with this roster.
I mean, also, like, you're saying they're the key players of the team. I feel like they're some of the key players of MPL itself.
Absolutely.
And also, Maluk is a guy that the others respect, so they will be listening to his calls. They're going to make sure we're going to do everything we can to make sure that it's easier for you to IGL and we can win the games.
And he knows the players so well as well. Like, he played against them, he played with them, and he knows how to micromanage them, what player to put in what position, like when to flank.
And actually also there's got to be a level of respect there. The other three guys are playing with the RGL of the
number one.
four-time NPL
That's
champions.
fair. Yeah.
Well, North American champions at least. So there's going to be an amount of, we're just going to listen, we're going to do what you say.
Yeah. You must have been doing something right during all of this time where you keep beating us. So there must be something there, which makes a lot of sense. Of course, with other teams to look over, United States here with Sharky in it, Zampa, Valier, and Bahawaka. Guys, what do you make of the team? Do you think that United States is going to be able to make a dent? I think a lot of people are a little bit skeptical due to the fact that there are so many really, really strong teams here, but what were your impressions?
I mean, the easy thing for Valiant, who is going to be IGL, he got Bahawaka from his own team with him, so that's going to help a little bit. Then you have Sharky and Zampa. They can be a little bit of a wild card.
Well, this is complete actual opposite flip of Canada. If we can have one of these players take the reins and control the other three, actually, we've got a lot of potential in this roster. But one of the things we come and talk about when we think about Sharky and Zampa time and time again is these solo plays. And actually, that's a factor that we need to take into account there.
Surprise, surprise. When the crowd gets loud, we know that Korea is on the screen. As of course here, very, very strong roster. And a lot of people here do believe that they will be challenging here for the championship. And it's almost natural that South Korea, when it comes to esports, is challenging for championships. And we know from the past, when it comes to esports and things like that, that the Korean fans, the Korean pundits, everything like that, if South Korea doesn't beat non-Koreans, especially on their turf, they almost never let them live it down. So we know that they've been working extremely hard, Hypoc, to try and overcome that kind of situation.
Yeah, and actually, not to overlook, it's a huge advantage to have, this noise behind you at an event. And hearing that on stage, obviously in between games, and I mean, they've got to be absolutely buzzing to come out on the stage here and get that reception. That's a confidence boost in itself. The home comfort factor shouldn't be overlooked at an event like this.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing a home turf.
Sure.
You know everything, not just inside the game, but outside. A factor that I always bring in because I feel like this is an important thing. And it's like stuff like food and so on. What are you eating? How are you feeling?
Speaking of food, fish and chips, mushy peas, God save the Queen, because it's Great Britain here. And again, normally I'm not too nationalist. I'm not too,
I'm surprised we have 4 people here on our talent, for the English talent.
Yes.
That is English.
Yes.
How have we no votes on the Great Britain lads?
Because we understand our esports history.
We
No,
understand
I
that
don't
we're
get that.
We
You
know
saw-
where we stand.
The boys, they tweeted after 4 games of the scrims, they
Yeah.
had 3 second places. And that talks to
Not first though, is it?
what these, like, potentially what these
Story
guys...
of our life.
Story of your life, always second now. You said
Apart from
that, you said that
1966.
you're...
Apart from then. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. It is now time to get game number 1 underway here. It's the PUBG Nations Cup. We're heading to Miramar. 16 teams, 3 days, $500,000. Yes, indeed. This is going to be one absolute blinder of a tournament. My name is Sims. This is Matrim, and we are live from Korea. Matrim, this is just going to be one hell of a wild ride. We have no idea what is going to happen when all these regions are thrown onto one map.
I cannot wait. This is going to be one of those events you're just going to have to buckle in for because there is so much unexpected stuff that can happen. And we're talking about mixed up teams composing all of these rosters. We have so much national pride that's going to be rivalries going against each other. I mean, we even saw inside of this trash talk between, like, signed teams.
Individual rosters.
Kind of going after each other. I cannot wait to see how this breaks down.
I mean, this is the wild thing, right? We have 2 rosters down there that are actually full teams in national leagues. We have one team that is the home crowd favourite, South Korea, just a little bit. And then 13 other teams that are all ready, willing and able and chomping at the bit because that's a lot of money to be taking home. 100 grand for first place.
Phew, that is nice.
And then 3 days ago, we had announced that the Asian regional spot for the World Championship after this is also on the line. So that's something else that adds not only a bit of momentum, but a bit of firepower for these Asian teams potentially who are also vying for that extra spot on the bus.
And this could be very, very important because now we have I know it's going to be kind of a fun event whenever we're looking through this, but also these Asian teams are going to be playing it a little bit more sweaty than everybody else because, again, national stakes are on the line, but now also getting a regional spot, moving over into the Classic coming up here in a couple of months, that is big, and that's going to really light a fire under a couple of these teams.
I mean, that's a $2 million World Championship. It's like, it's big money, it's big game, and South Korea, especially here in this arena, it's hometown turf. It's as simple as that. They have the crowd behind them. They have the firepower. A lot of our casters, not me. Were you one of them?
What?
Did you vote for South Korea?
No, I did not.
You didn't? Okay.
I went
well,
with
the casters up
Finland.
here didn't, but a lot of people did. James went for the safe bet, but James is...
We already
James.
know. That's just how James
Just
is.
favoritism. He
I
likes
mean,
to
we could be
instantly go for
doing
it.
an event over in the West, and we'll be like, South Korea's going to win. You know, just the way it works.
I picked Russia, and everyone kind of gave me a bit of a funny look at one point. Because I know a lot of Europeans went for
makes sense.
Finland. The Finland kind of mix, or just with the home team advantage. For me personally, when I look towards Russia, because we have all these mixed teams, I don't necessarily think they will be, and I suppose this goes for all the rest of the rosters here. You'll be able to do some weird and wacky stuff and not be punished as hard. Like if you're playing in National League, you have the teams, you have the cohesion, you have certain areas, buildings, priority places locked down. You can't just run off and do your own thing and hope for the best. A team will be able to shut that down, lock it down, kill the player and make it work. For me, this will happen here, in my opinion. You will get these individuals. Duckmans from Face It, when you were casting him,
God, yes.
the stuff that he was doing was just insanity.
I cannot wait to watch more Duckmans play. I mean, we even saw him in the little video coming through there. He's like, okay, yeah, we know we don't always win, but we think we've got it this time. I mean, hell, whenever we were looking at him and Face It, this guy was a one-man army in and of himself. I just cannot wait to see now that he's kind of got polished and has faith in all of his teammates around him. That's going to be nuts to watch. But I do 100% agree with what you're talking about. Like, a lot of these teams have specific comms, call-outs. Well, that's one of the big things that happens inside of PUBG so much. Everybody has their own localized call-outs for things, like a specific place you want to rotate to or how you're going to go through. Now that we've got these rosters mixed up a little bit, communication's not going to be as crisp as we're used to. So these solo pushes, these like nice aggressive plays that we might be seeing from Russia or a Valiate or Zampa over in North America that they're known for could be quite big.
And I suppose that's where it comes down to testing yourselves, getting in the waters, throwing yourself down, and picking the IGL, listening to that one individual player. There's many out there on many different teams, but only one can lead them to victory. It looks like game one, map one, day one is about to get underway. It's going to be Miramar. The plane is in the air. And honestly, Matt, we have no idea where these teams are going. We've seen the scrims. We can try and guesstimate all day. But for all we know, we could have hot drops straight off the bat.
And that's what I love about these first couple of rounds of events. Sometimes it can be a little chill where everybody's just trying to figure out what's going on. But this is a tempo-setting game. because now everybody's going to get a little bit of extra space on the point boards, or we might actually have to see them trying to catch back up onto it. So naturally, everybody's going to be a little bit calm off the get-go, but nobody knows how this could lay out. We can see there is a clump of people going right over Chumasera right now. That looks like that's Japan and Turkey. Naturally, we also have a couple of teams that are going to be looking for buying for potentially Picado back over towards the north. I wouldn't be surprised if we see San Martin get a little bit of attention as well.
The road to being crowned the Nations Cup 2019 champion starts now. Remember, we are only 3 days of this competition. There is only 15 games. If you muck this up early on and you go down in 16th, you're losing points early. Initial, we said this, contact could be made potential. It is. Japan and Turkey, they meet. They're on the far side, down to the south, more towards the Kumasiri side. You have the high side, you have the low side. At the moment, I think the initial one might be Mur here.
Japan's got the guns. You can see they're just on the hunt. Turkey is going to be the first blood of this event. But I think everybody else from Turkey is already on the run, trying to separate out as much as they can.
If I'm not mistaken, this did actually happen, the same scenario in the scrims. Japan took the high side, Turkey got the low, and they were forced down. They had to back out from this.
Oh, that
screen,
circle.
I'm just seeing...
Look at that. That is far up towards the northeast. Look at the cluster of the teams. Everybody jumped really, really early, so that means it's going to be some very messy rotations coming into play.
Okay, we do have the fight down in the bottom left. We will keep tabs on it, but something I want to touch on with that circle. Who's in the central point? It's going to be Germany. And guess what? Germany is a full squad, and that's where they usually go.
Oh, my God. That is going to make it so rough for so many of these teams that are going to be rotating through. We can see that it's been a little bit of an interesting start for everybody, but a lot of these teams have managed to carve out their own specific location. Looking back over at Thailand right now, we were talking about Duckmans. This guy put on a show, but Minoru is a guy we have got to keep an eye on as well. That guy is absolutely fire right now.
We'll have a quick discussion about where teams are. We can see the map, so we'll just try and break this one down further. You saw that initial contact was made. Japan, Turkey around just above Kumasira side, where the silos are. Down below them, we do see, or at least I can see on the map, Finstrike is lurking. We call them Finstrike. It's the Windstrike meme, but it's actually Finland. We'll go with that one. We'll keep going with the countries just in case you don't watch the PL, you don't know how things go down. But Finland is lurking in the distance. Picado, it has been taken over by Korea. They are plumb center. They're happy for now. Los Leones, Argentina. They've got a good old foothold inside that town. No one's really going to do much in there because that'll be locked down. But if you do want to rotate all the way down in the south, if you want to take that coastal road, you have to be very, very careful. There are two teams side by side, Matrim. We see Russia and we see China. They're causing a bit of a blockade. It looks like USA, from my angle, are actually taking the western side, so they'll avoid that. But this is the scenario that I was just speaking about.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a setup. You can see that Kimba's taking a little bit of damage back on this. China feels like they're feeling pretty aggressive about this. They have a nice angle. Godby's up to the side of it. But Summer's just got a bead right back over on Kimba, and that's going to be a easy down coming out for Summer.
He had a bullet in the side of the helmet. You could see the mark, and he finds a second one. Kemba goes down. That should be initial follow-up. 1 point moves to China. They will claim the first scalp all the way down to the south. So now Russia, I can see them just backing off. They have to be very careful, though, because as they rotate, I do see Chinese Taipei lingering in the distance. So it's provided they're careful on that route, they will pretty survive this one. But with 3 players, it's going to be difficult, because that circle is going to be a hell of a traverse upwards.
I mean, this area in general can just be kind of messy, depending on how you have to make your ways through it. Naturally, we do have Germany, we're talking about very centered up, but looks like we've got Canada on the move right next to Basel. Is he going to find the angle for it? Going to take a couple of shots, not going to connect with a lot. That's going to get a little bit of damage onto the vehicle, but it looks like Maluk is going to make it back off onto the hills. You can see Moody immediately stopped on that and is going to reposition around.
The call didn't come through quick enough. Can't have hurt the vehicle just in time, otherwise he would have moved onto that roadside. The 16, yes, it's not a full automatic AR, so you're always going to have a difficult one. It does kick like a donkey at times when you're spraying away with it, but certainly a warning comes through from Maluk. Gets away with his life. Didn't even think they were tagging it, to be honest. So happy days for now. El Pozo, you can see just on the western side, that's where USA will take their route. They'll go up to the north, maybe potentially kick it in around La Cobar area and punch it in potentially again somewhere around Tony Owada. You see Cruz de Val as well. You do have that hillside that they could, which will provide them cover. Water treatment will be hot. People have to be careful of this. If you're going to make an entry point in the western side of that circle, you will have several teams. Team Great Britain, they're plumb center of that scenario which I was speaking about. Korea just below them. Thailand's there as well, and so is Australia around the water treatment. It depends what Australia do. If they move and play border control, then they will catch these teams that are rotating more towards the northern side of the circle.
got Canada that's kind of encroaching back over next to where we can see Vietnam to make the stop over for it. Luke is up on the high ground from this, looking back down. It looks like he fed the information over. So we have Canada kind of creating a line, looking back over towards 2 members of Vietnam. The other 2 members look like they're doing a little bit of a rotation out around and might be creeping up back behind the other side of Canada.
Cautiously for now. Already been warned. More shots coming through onto Drassel. I mean, it's dangerous because you are downwind of this fight and there are only 2 men. At 50% your capacity, you are going to be taking a fight on a deficit side.
And it's right in the center, and there's going to be so many teams rotating through.
The problem is Canada have problems of their own. He's seen that. He definitely saw that the grenade was transitioned through. They're going to start to pull back. I think, yeah, Silzen's saying, okay, we don't want nothing to do with this. We'll just force ourselves back. So Canada holds its ground. They've got 2 teams, though, either side. And that's what they have to be careful of on the next rotation. Learn where these people are. Make sure they keep a track of them. Just don't let them wander away and hide away. Because then when you move forward off the back of this transition, you could be running into an open trap.
He's in a, looks like he realized he was in a little bit of trouble. Reels did have an angle back over for it, so Pio's just going to get back out of there. And it feels like everybody's got a really good amount of information gathering at this stage. Oh my. Michael takes a couple of shots. Looks like he regrets that real quick.
There was a warning shot that came through from Reels, but as you mentioned, Michael did get a warning one back. The pan potentially could have saved him. Oh, China again with a second one. This time it's on to Japan. So Japan, the team that picked up the first frag, they do lose a player. Gabba goes down at December 12th. He finds one. SLR, bullet to the brain, confirms it. Job done. 1 point to them. China at the moment, let's have a look at their position on the map. Where are they? Okay, so they're quite far, to be fair.
Yeah,
Turkey, Brazil, Russia. There are so many teams still outside the circle up against the blue.
I mean, this could be very, very messy for a couple of these guys. Brazil looked like they were opting going up towards the north. This is going to get really messy really quickly. Turkey is not taking any shots right now. I think that they're aware that they have a couple of teams around them, and it's really risky. No! Your vehicle's running off on you, man.
Well,
the beautiful death's just watching it roll away. Gonna run right over there next to the Brazil.
If he wasn't going to shoot at the Matrim and give away his position, at least the car will now. He's given up the game. I suppose it could be just a 9,000 IQ player, which gives him some defense. He will watch them in the distance.
See, it looks like more players, right? Whenever the vehicle's rolling down and there's a guy walking, see, it's 2 guys, not just one that's going to take those shots back over there. Sixmo switches. Switch.
I love it.
Oh, man, this is a real aggressive early game. I mean, no surprise coming out from China. These guys are known for very aggressive early games.
We have seen in PL, it was actually Uber, funnily enough, onto Scoom, the seat switch was just disgusting. Drive by outside of the passenger with an AR, you love to see it. Does go for the style points, I'll give you that. Why not? A doozy. In the distance, do see the vehicle feeding all this information back.
This is in the blue.
Just about to touch on that. I'm assuming you're wondering why, and I am too. But then again, if they are fighting off the back of losing a player quite early on, you're always going to be feeling it. It does a lot to your mental stability, and you want to let players maybe go central of this circle first. This circle is prone to be the biggest hardship. Well, I say you don't really know prone to be the biggest, but if there is going to be a massive hardship, it's in this initial one. Sometimes going central can be your downfall, because once you're trying to get out the middle of the pack, if you do have to go to the edge, then you have so many teams just stacked up on a brick wall in front of you.
But the problem with it is if the circle does go center, now you have nowhere to go because everybody is just set and locked into position. You can see Finland's doing a little drive-by next to USA. This is way up to the north, but it's still back down to the south. Looks like Russia and China did finally manage to separate out a little bit. Japan's making their way into the circle as well. And there is that duo up center that we were talking about. I gotta say, this is not looking too comfortable for Russia or China.
Yeah, this is the main issue now. What side of the map are you on? How do you make an entry point here? Because this will be a border protected circle. The north looking quite good, but certainly open. It's not without its own downfall. If you do come in through Thierry Bronco, which I'm already seeing Jempty scouting that out. You would expect to see Jempty. Does it for Face Clan, Team Liquid. I'm thinking old times. I'm seeing him. I'm seeing him with Mexi these days, so it's just rolling back the years a little bit there. Either way, he is the scout. He likes to go off and do his own thing, call out a position, and certainly a man who can when it comes to finding a team, fighting up against them. He can take his own battles and pick them if needed, but he will find a place for the rest of Finland to come down and follow. Cruz de Val still holds USA just to the left-hand side. Turkey, Japan, and China. Still Russia as well. Nowhere near the circle.
One thing I want to point out is we do see Korea playing right against the edge of the circle right now. Looks like they were potentially trying to hunt down a couple of kills, trying to get something off of rotation. but I mean, with the way we have everything set up, everybody is trying to rotate fairly late. Usually in competitive PUBG, we see a lot of very early rotations. It feels like everybody is still just trying to get a measure of the map and figure out where everybody's going. Finally, Germany is regrouping because they've been in control of this location for quite a while, now making their way back down around El Alzon.
Yeah, the regroup here for Germany will be good for the simple fact they're in a 2-1-1 split. So if anyone pulls up on these priority compounds that they're holding, they could just... You okay, Chris?
Well, you say that, but I mean, they got Finland coming up back behind them, and that's going to be a little bit dangerous. But hey, look, China finally made it out of the blue.
That's the reason they're pulling away from El Azhar, to be fair. I suppose in case it does hatch it to the side, you don't want to get locked inside that city.
Oh no, Japan.
And they do have the 2-1-1, which I suppose it gives them more options if they do want to regroup at a different location, or even just for a point of moving once the circle does shift. USA's in, as you mentioned. Turkey is in the next compound that we will see China and Japan. We could have a three-way here match, and we've got one team directly in front of them. They head towards Turkey's compound. This could be dangerous. This will also give the information to Team GBR. Great Britain is on the edge of this circle where all these teams are going to make an end. They're actually gatekeeping the road. This could be some points for Great Britain should these teams be actually floodgating towards them.
The problem with it is Japan is actually in the buggy right now. I was going to say, that is just dangerous, man. Being on the back of that thing and running through two different teams, now making their way back over next to Great Britain. We see Dev trying to make a round the side of that. I think he's going to be on the other side of that rock, but I think Turkey still has an angle back for this. But you can see it's been a little bit of a shift. It's getting a little bit violent. Japan takes one loss inside that. That's super dangerous. Turkey still looking back over towards China.
It's a rather unorthodox position to be fair. You want to expect Turkey to be in a compound, basically camping it down while the blue is on the back. So it is rather unorthodox, but it has worked, and it's picked him up a point or two, I believe. To indeed a beautiful death, and Ira one apiece. I suppose that's better off as well, because actually they've got some slight revenge there onto Japan, because they were the ones that got the initial frag on them and took their player away from them. Depp, the last man standing.
I mean, a little bit of vengeance, down to one guy now, and so now Depp has just got the entirety of his country's pride on his back. And you can see there's just people driving around. This is so nerve-wracking. He's gonna go for the shots back over towards Cairo, and that's just gonna draw a lot of attention. Are we gonna see them stop? Look at this, that's a lot of damage back over towards Depp, and that's gonna be it. Japan is the first team out.
It's a questionable play. I'm stunned he went for that. In a one versus any scenario, when you're on your own like that, you want to be playing for placement. Why go for them? They're all happily accept a battle. You're just going to go for the refrag. They're all close together. If you are going to go for that scenario and try and pick up one individual player, then maybe go for the last one and not the one that's going to keep coming forward, because he has support. They accept the challenge. They get out the car. And unfortunately, Japan, they are gone. 16th place game number one. Turkey do make it in. Great Britain along the roadside. And while that was all going down the circle, it hard shifted to the west.
Couple of shots going back down next to Argentina. Friends are taking a little bit of damage, but I think he's going to make it back behind that. Yep, so should be perfectly comfortable there. So these are just hello bullets at this point. I don't see any downs coming out from it. But one thing to note is not inside the circle. So Brazil is actually posted up inside of it, so has to keep an eye on it.
Matchroom, we've just seen on the map. It looks like Australia has turned up USA. We've already seen the grenades cycling through the hands of the players. The bombardment does begin. This is a compound fight. All four players up on both sides, respectively.
And I love this. We haven't had a chance to really talk about Australia, but these guys have been on a roll lately. This is a very strong team in and of itself. So USA looking back over towards Australia, it looks like everything's kind of calmed down for a second.
Look, Matt, you're from the USA side. Talk to me about these individual players. Who kind of takes point? Who's your sniper? Who's your marksman? What are you looking from these individuals?
It's really hard to say in this configuration, because we have seen Valiate and Zampa both kind of pull off these really interesting flank positions before. So with this, I wouldn't be surprised if we see, I can see Zampa coming back into the vehicle off the side of this. Looks like he was trying to go for an offsides position, but also Sharky's been known for that. So at what point, whenever you have a Team USA that's known for a whole bunch of flankers, who's kind of the one guy that stays in the center? I'm venturing to say it's probably going to be Baja that's posted up over there. But look at this. We also have Finland looking back over next to China, and that could be a very interesting fight to get started up.
China caught off guard ever so slightly in a 2-2 split. There is a compound in front of them, a priority one for that, especially with this kind of circle. They could take residency in, but they have to regroup, which they are doing. Get the resources together. Uber.
Gotta be super careful.
Just pulled up here. Nade up and over. It's ticked. It's cooked. Two are there as well, but they go too far. Silzen without that damage. About 40% HP. The second one falls through. They think they've gone down to the south. He's not. He's further up close and personal.
I really love that. You can tell Silzen had an idea on where these grenades were going to go, went ahead and abandoned, started making his way up, taking a couple of shots back to the side of this, but now out inside the blue, this big damage is going to start to stack up. Russia's trying to get a couple of shots back over. You can see the grenades are prepped, but they're going to bounce very interestingly.
Matt, I'm really sorry I have to break you off. Aduzi's behind them. Aduzi is right behind them on the opposing side of the road. They've no idea. If he gets over in time, he's quite split from the rest of the pack, but if he gets here in time, he can pick up some big points.
Uba's going for the spray back over on Argentina. At least two of their members managed to make it away. Are we going to see this next vehicle make it through? A couple of shots going to go through, and it's going to be Brazil that actually saves Argentina, getting a couple of shots back over towards it.
That's in the graveyard. They're third party in this one. The circle's been favorable to them. It does shift more towards the southeast. Graveyard still in. Everywhere else kind of open. Thailand, they are looking happy. Not quite center of the map, but damn near it. Uber goes down to the blue. That was a knock that came through Brazil. Argentina further afield. Russia, my pick of the tournament is gone. 15th place for them. Rather unfortunate caught between a rock and a hard place. Argentina from behind, Brazil in front. Now, the circle, it condenses. Luke 12. Unfortunately, Australia's dream machine, the man, the myth, the legend, has fallen to Miraku. He's been confirmed and cleaned up. Team GBR, they're just teetering on the edge of the circle. Everyone else, unfortunately, including Australia, is getting ahead of the game in front of them.
Finland does manage to make it back through Great Britain and gets into a nice position, but they do have Australia next to them. We still have 54 people alive at this stage of the game, and you can see there's not a lot of space to work with. Finland looks like they might be in a little bit of trouble, as at least two different teams have angles to look back over towards them, and they have Germany back down the hillside that might look back around here, go for a couple of shots. So now, you know, at this stage of the game, when you're committing to Shack Life, you've got some problems ahead of you.
Yeah, this is not good.
Yeah, man himself, Duckman's looking back down that angle too.
My worry is that if another team get wind of this, the fact that it's a hop, skip, and a jump is Germany. One player just runs across and posts a grenade in that building there. Oh, gone Zampa. Leo finds him and instas him. That's a flush and a half. Bye-bye, Zampa. 1 point picked up. Chinese Taipei. Leo, thank you very much. Strassel and the rest of the boys are on the hillside here. Canada still standing strong. They do have a line of sight on some of these battles.
Every event, it's always North America versus North America as they post up against each other. So Canada looking back over towards USA. But we do have Chinese Taipei right around that same location. Australia is also posted up right over around similar location next to Korea and Great Britain, who is still just gatekeeping out. So really, we're at that stage of Miramar where everybody's just trying to get into these little ravines to find these little sneaky paths. And it looks like USA is in a little bit of trouble, is at least trying to get the res back over here. And Valiate off on the other side, not even in the safe zone yet.
I'll tell you who is in trouble. China, Korea, and Great Britain are looking directly at them. They need to make their way out of the compound. The blues on the back. They have to move. Keep an eye on that kill feed, because honestly, I think we'll be seeing them go down any second. I'm just seeing Tracer Fire laying down from afar. Summer, he's been caught off. December 12th, knocks himself out, jumps out the vehicle. They're all falling. Michael cleans up the kill, picks up Summer. 1 point moves towards him. 2 now for Great Britain. Pio, though, he smells blood. Korea, they want to get involved in this, because those players out in the blue for them, unless they give it up and deny points to other... Stolen!
I was
Okay.
expecting that one. You could see both guys had moved back down there. Pio was looking on one angle, Michael on another. China is just locked down. Godvi is on no life, just trying to stay alive. Nope, he's not even going to get that off. Now it's just Mad 98, and this is bad. There is nowhere to go, man.
I mean, what can you do here? You don't want to run out of there, because all you're going to do is just give points to your opponents. You know there's a full wall of 2 teams there, so you just need to sit it out and hope to God one team dies before you.
Oh, but look at Pio. Is he going for a reposition? Has he given up and said, okay, we know China's going to die, and looking back now next to Great Britain, he might have a high ground angle onto it. USA finding themselves in a little bit of trouble. Look back on the hillside, already has one member down and out, so that's now everything on Baja's back as he's just trying to throw down a smoke, get something out of this, at least time to get some meds up, but Leo's looking back around on this angle. I mean, it's just Baja at this stage now.
K-Mind came in and just whipped that one up, so Sharky, that actually moves the point towards him. Canada, smell this one. There's blood in the water, they want more. China's gone, 14th place. Great Britain moving onwards. Turkey now to fall. Argentina, I was worried about them, but honestly, it's not a big deal. They're doing well. 6 more, he goes down as well. That's an instant confirmation of the knock from earlier on. The USA, you did just see fall, and looking for some, number 13. Australia, they have made contact with Thailand. This is the main compound that's still inside this circle. Great Britain now have Korea directly behind them.
Oh, here we go. Korea making that push that we were talking about beforehand. Reels back on one angle, very aware of it, throwing out their grenades, trying to get a little bit more space. Has to be very, very cautious, especially when you're playing on these Miramar hills. When you throw out those grenades, they're going to bounce. They're going to roll back down that hillside. Great Britain seems to be aware of the situation, trying to move forward, but Onyx up at the top of it, has an angle. It's a beautiful shot back down towards Michael. That's gonna be a stall. Look at the push from Aqua 5, right up into their face. Preps out the grenade, trying to get a little bit more angle. Aqua 5 still holding this really up by himself. Pio still around the other side of that hill, trying to find the right angle for it. And I gotta say, Great Britain is just trying to run to get out of the situation.
Michael was cooking the grenade. It dropped on the floor and killed him. So that point goes to Korea. There is a response. Pio goes down, but so does Vard. So trade for trade. Miraku smokes are there. The ninjas in pajamas, or at least the two-man are with them.
Finland's pushing back around the other side angle from Great Britain. There is nowhere for Great Britain to go. Look, Samty is looking back on this angle, realizes he is in a lot of trouble, but Korea is still just leapfrogging with their cars down around the side of this. It's just a fight for dominance of this edge of the circle. Reels, what do you got? Do you have the angle back onto it? Samty does go down.
Miraku finds the shot, finds the face, job done. Nades up and over we go. How much more damage? Tiksu forced to disengage from this one. They've overextended. Korea's now seen them. They're directly in front of them. Reels finds Samty. That's the confirmation. The grenade's there. Tiksu off angle. AKM up close and personal. Should they step forward? They'll have to deal with this. Tiksu, if he finds a grenade, the information's there. It could take some health off them. No, it doesn't. But it does give the info. They're lingering on the other side. Reels lowballs the grenade. That answers back, but the grenade damage is real. Miraku's down. I really would expect them to push this advantage.
But Australia's off on the other side of Korea, so here come the grenades out on one side of this. You can see Australia's trying to move around through it. Aqua 5 does go down. Alex is still just trying to hold this angle. Finland's still just trying to dismantle Great Britain. It is just a cluster of teams off to the side of this. Insight's just making his push around the outside. Is Ionix the last person up at this point? Yes, he is. He's going for the sprays back over towards Australia. Can he do it? Trying to get him down, somehow survives.
Ionix does survive. 12th position will be Australia's grave for now. Great Britain still going toe-to-toe. Korea going strong. Ionix last man standing. How many more can he take? He keeps going and going. Death after death. Finally, somebody puts him in the grave. So many teams have gone down during that transition. South Korea, that's 11th place for them. UK also 4. They just got ahead of the game with 10th. We're down to 9. No, we're not. We're down to 7. How did I even miss this? So many people died in that one single engagement.
There is just nowhere to go inside of this complex. Germany has just been comfortably sitting out inside the center of the circle, but it has been a bloodbath as teams have just been stacking across, just trying to make it into the safe zone. You can see Finland finally gets back up their reses. Should have a chance to get a little bit of meds off, but you can see third parties are the factor right now. Everybody seems to have a sight line on at least one other team.
Okay, let's calm things down for a second. Right. That was a bit of a wild roller coaster, and there was just attention from all angles of this map. Thailand yet to do anything. They've been quite quiet, but they have to move from the safety of that position they've been in all this time. They have to be careful because Jemti does have an eye line on them. So all 3 players from Finland are now focused towards them. Germany has the only last standing compound in this circle. They've been plumb center the entire time, and now they're making the aggressive push. I can see Canada. They're knocking at the door. They're just lingering downwind of them. Germany actually got it. Okay, so Mexico did push out. Duckmans does find contact initially with the guys on the side of Finland. Remember, they're outnumbered 4-3 here.
These shots are insane from Duckmans. He is just tearing apart Finland right now. Gets one of them down. Already gets a lot of damage. Gonna go ahead and fall, but get a second one. And look at that! Duckmans destroys Finland.
He just battered them all!
What is with these solo plays inside this game already? This is just the first game, Rich.
The kid's a freak.
Look at this. All right,
you can't do that to Finland.
I picked Finland to win this, and he just tore them apart. All right, so we got Taipei in a nice position. Germany as well. You can see Brazil got their smokes down, trying to get a little bit more space. Canada still alive, very, very quiet, but it's a bloodbath off to the side. The Blues coming in, Brazil. I don't think you got time to go for those reses.
So Germany do have a really good position, but the problem is that they have literally teams on every single angle. A full 360-degree angle. You can't peek out the window. We're always seeing individuals actually falling because of that. Brazil falling at the wayside. Vietnam will have eyes on them. Thailand lingering on the other side as well. Minuro time in to strike, instantly cleans up that one. Gives another point towards him. That's 5. The last stand for Andy. What can he do, though? Okay, so Thailand, again, now they've had the safety of that building removed from them. Is a difficult stance. Yes, Duckmans is there. He can respond. He can go front. Maybe give some body block here, but it looks to me like Canada's actually getting boxed in.
They're in a little bit of trouble. Grenades are coming through. Lots of damage out. They just got a res off, but you can see somehow Maluk is weathering all of these grenades dropped next to him. 4 members of Vietnam are trying to push back over onto this, but a nice push coming out from Canada is going to reveal Maluk, though. He does get one down, but it's all onto Moody now as K-Mine is down as well. This grenade could spell the end of Canada, depending on how it bounces. Moody's going to step up around it, has the angle for it, but Levis is just going to push right up into Moody's face. They know he might be going for the res, trying to deny it. That grenade is going to finish it off, and there we go. Vietnam takes down Canada.
Bye, boys. If the grenade didn't do it, it was the aggressive push that would. Moving up there is perfect time to strike in PUBG. Get your enemy wounded, let them put the smokes up and then press. Because below the smokes, your footsteps are hidden. It's not just a smoke screen to your eyes, but the noise also disengages the ears, so you can make a push like that, and it does work for now.
Chinese Taipei has an angle back over towards Thailand, taking a couple of shots. You can see the smokes are out, but Germany's also participating inside this. Brexco going to go ahead and take away one of these. That's going to be a steal going over towards them. Germany has been in a really interesting position. Sure, they get the circles, but they haven't had a chance to get a ton of kills as of yet because nobody's really pushed into their position, so that's why they're on the hunt right now. Chinese Taipei is trying to push off to one side. Meanwhile, Thailand also pushing back around over this while we've got Vietnam and Andy, the last guy alive for his squad, just kind of looking at everything, praying no one looks his direction.
So Germany have to pick their fights here. They're very sparse and very separated. Duckmans again just adds another body to the tally. Brazil, 5th position, will come through. Sapu finds Duckman, so at least they take out the hunter, the Terminator for now. Put a bit of a stopgap on that one. Chinese Taipei, they'll get themselves back together. Rally the troops, get the health, get yourself back on your feet and prepare to move because they all have to come down this hill. It's going to be a bloodbath anywhere you go. Teams are just lingering on the side of this one. It's kind of a bit of a bowl ditch compared to where this compound is. You have to go up, essentially up and over. 4th position, but a valiant effort. Plenty of kills in the bag will give them some decent points. Germany, though, they are standing strong.
Germany is in a great position right now, but look at Vietnam sitting on 8 kills right now. Got a nice angle to make a poach. Look at Nizam. He's kind of pushed around the other side of this. Everybody knows that they're going to probably have to push around where Germany's at. It depends on how these angles come into play. If we see Chinese Taipei, they are going to have to push over next to Germany. Vietnam does not have to go anywhere, nor does Germany. So all the pressure over on the... This is going to be hard.
The only way they lose this is if they pick too many battles. If they decide to engage one team and they get hit from a third-party angle that they've not smoked up or made themselves
they still have so much
invisible from.
Like, look at the amount of grenades and smokes.
They've not really been in any fights,
yeah.
so their gear's going to... I think they've had 1 knock so far. Their gear's going to be good. Their helmets, their chests, they'll still have any smokes, their meds. I mean, for Vietnam, you can already see them. They're just looting body boxes, picking up, claiming what they killed. Happy days for them.
My big thing is I'm keeping an eye on Nizam. His reposition could be absolutely huge depending on how we see Germany have to move through this. It's starting to tell that it feels like Germany feels very comfortable in their position with this new circle setup. They know that they're going to be right on the edge of it, so he could be a very influencing factor in this as Germany might try to regroup. He can find that right angle, but it's Vietnam just going back and forth right now, just taking some shots. SR's already down. Vietnam's just spraying back down towards Milk. That's another one down for him. They know they have the numbers, but they have to be cautious as Germany's looking up onto him. That's going to push them right up into 9 kills, about to be 10. Leo knows he's in a little bit of trouble. Germany can't really participate in this fight just due to angles.
And to be honest, I don't think they really want to, because if they go out as an individual, they might lose a single player. So for them, they can watch this. If they can steal a kill or two, then yeah, great, why not? They've got the level 2 eye line of the buildings. They could, 10 kills?
These guys are just stacking these up. Such great shots back over on this angle. Basil's looking off over towards it. You can see Nizam's got himself 4. Hasn't even been involved inside of this fight. Remember, this is just 3 members. Finally, Nizam, with a little bit of an angle. I thought he was going to go for a shot back over towards this, but now it's just Leo hanging out next to that rock.
I'm just seeing Chris casually with an AUG, so he's clearly geared up.
I mean,
the big man's going to be covered in level 3 armor.
Germany's just been chilling for so long now, but the problem comes into play. How much information have they been able to gather inside of this little divot that they're in? They keep hearing these firefights, but they don't have the best sight lines on what's going on around them.
It's Nizam that's the problem.
Exactly.
If he's stayed there the entire time, they won't have a read on him. If he strikes and just forces the dagger at the right time, then... Oh, here we go. Okay, that's damaging.
Oh, but he gets spotted out by Kane. So there we go. That's going to buy a little bit more space for him. Germany got their 4 kills, looking back over towards Vietnam, trying to find the right angle for it. But again, we're in circle 9. Everything's going to condense down the center, and that's exactly what Germany owns right now.
Keep pressing the advantage. Grenades go up. Got to be careful. They don't overextend. That's a lot of damage. Sapu does have a grenade. Smokes are there. He will go for them. That's where you'd expect to see a team lingering. It does roll down. He's weak. Chris gets it. The big man goes down. That takes away the level 3 gear. Now they're splitting them at the wayside. How much more damage they can do? Spins on a pinhead. They've split. They split Germany. They've completely thrown this. What's going on?
Germany, what happened? You had that in the bag. Brexco's still alive, but look, we have so many members from Vietnam. Do they have the angle for it? Looks like Levi's is trying to push up onto this. Is he gonna find the angle before the res comes out? Brexco has to step away from it. Realizes it's too dangerous. Basil's looking back down on this hillside. Brexco just trying to hold out for it. Grenade's gonna go out a little bit too far. Not finding the angle for it, but there we go. Is that gonna be it? Vietnam walking away with the first game. I would not have expected that.
16 kills. 26 points to open up day 1, game 1. Germany must be absolutely kicking themselves, Matra.
I don't know what they were thinking. It felt like they thought that they had it, but I mean, that was a high ground push. They were pushing into somewhere where they didn't know where the repositions were coming from. And I gotta say, Vietnam just had momentum galore coming into that point. They had been fighting for so long and just racking up. Again, 26 points to start off a 3-day event is massive.
It's always hard when you're fighting fights on multiple fronts, and Nizam's position may have just completely thrown Germany off.
Yeah.
They split at the side, it was a 2-1-1, and they even went for the res, unfortunately. I mean, you could have questioned it, should we have potentially gone for the kills as opposed to the res and just lingering around there, but either way, we can't take nothing away. Vietnam, that is a monumental performance to open up game 1. You can't ask for any more. 26 points. I know.
You decide if you're ever gonna let me know. Yeah.